Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Top 5 Minutes. Today we're diving into a topic that's both fascinating and poignant. We'll be exploring the top 5 last recorded voices of pilots before they faced the ultimate sacrifice. It's a sobering reminder of the bravery and dedication of those who take to the skies. Before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss our intriguing content. Let's get started. Number 5. Goodbye, everybody. The Swissair 330 disaster. Swissair Flight 330, SR 330, SWAR 330, was a routine flight that was scheduled to depart from Zurich Airport in Kloten, Switzerland, with a planned layover in Tel Aviv, Israel, before continuing on to Hong Kong. Tragically, the aircraft was destroyed by a bomb that had been planted by 2 individuals affiliated with the PLO shortly after takeoff, resulting in the loss of all 47 passengers and crew members. So, back in 1970, on February 21st, a Swissair Convair plane was flying with 38 passengers and 9 crew members. But then, about 9 minutes after takeoff, a bomb went off in the back cargo area of the plane. Turns out, some terrorists from the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, led by George Habash, had hidden a bomb in a mail package that was supposed to go on an El Al plane to Israel. But because of some technical issues, the mail ended up on the Swissair flight, and boom. The bomb went off because of the air pressure when the plane got to a certain height. The crew tried to turn the plane around and land in Zurich, but it didn't work out, and the plane crashed in a forest outside the city. Sadly, everyone on board, including 15 Israelis, didn't make it out alive.
I think you're going through now.
Emergency. We have smoke around back. I can't see anything. Please know it's crashing. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everybody.
Swissair 330, heading 080, please. Swissair 330, please open the window. Swissair 330, open your window, please. 330, I cannot read you anymore.
Number 4. The Cruel Rules of Winter. Florida Air Flight 90. It all started on January 13, 1982, when Air Florida Flight 90 was scheduled to take off from Washington National Airport to Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport, with a stopover in Tampa International Airport. But little did the passengers and crew know that this flight would turn into a nightmare. The weather was already bad due to a snowstorm, but the pilot and first officer decided to take off anyway. As the plane lifted off the ground, it suddenly pitched up sharply, causing the pilote to lose control. Despite their best efforts, the aircraft refused to return to a normal angle of ascension, and before they knew it, the plane had lost airspeed and entered a stall. With limited control function and no airspeed, the plane crashed into the 14th Street Bridge, crushing 7 vehicles and destroying 97 feet of guardrail, before plunging into the freezing waters of the Potomac River. It was a tragedy that shook the nation and left many wondering how such a thing could happen. This tragedy resulted in 4 deaths on the bridge. In addition, 74 passengers and crew members were killed. Only 4 travelers were saved, along with a flight attendant. Number 3. Words of warning. Delta Airlines 1141 turned into a raging inferno, engulfing the entire aircraft in flames. It was a horrific scene that left 14 people dead and 76 others injured out of the 108 passengers and crew on board. The tragedy occurred on August 31, 1988, during takeoff of a Boeing 727-200 series on Flight 1141 from DFW to Salt Lake City. The flight had been uneventful until the crew was instructed to hold for 1 minute due to the possibility of wake turbulence from another aircraft. The crew requested to extend the hold to 2 minutes and engaged in a conversation with the flight attendants about what they would say on the cockpit recorder in case of a crash. Little did they know that their worst nightmare was about to come true. As the plane took off, it suddenly started rolling violently and the right wing dropped. The aircraft's tail made contact with the runway, and the right wingtip struck the ground. The plane was unable to gain altitude or maintain stabilized flight, and the right wing hit the ILS localizer antenna, causing it to catch fire and disintegrate while still in the air. The aircraft crashed, sliding sideways and leaving a trail of wreckage before finally coming to a rest. The fire quickly spread, engulfing the entire aircraft in flames.
We gotta leave something for our wife and children to listen to. Now we're set. Estimates look good. Airspeed's coming up both sides. 89. Just hanging. We got an engine brake. Make it.
Number 2. Fire on Mountain, Japan Air 123. On August 12, 1985, Japan Airlines Flight 123 was scheduled to take off from Tokyo and head to Osaka, Japan. But what should have been a routine domestic passenger flight turned into a tragedy that shook the world. Just 12 minutes into the flight, the Boeing 747 experienced a catastrophic structural failure and decompression. The pilot struggled to keep the plane under control for another 32 minutes before it crashed into the area of Mount Takamagahara, 100 kilometers from Tokyo. The plane was carrying a whopping 524 people, with a high-density seating configuration. Sadly, all but 4 of them would perish in the accident. The 15 crew members and 505 of the 509 passengers lost their lives, with some surviving the initial impact but succumbing to their injuries while waiting for rescue. The 4 survivors were seriously injured and would never forget the horror they experienced. The crash of Flight 123 remains the deadliest single aircraft accident in aviation history, a somber reminder of the importance of safety in air travel. The investigation into the cause of the tragedy revealed that a faulty repair by Boeing technicians following a tail strike incident 7 years earlier was to blame. The structural failure caused a rapid decompression that tore off a large portion of the tail and disabled the aircraft's flight controls, leading to the devastating crash. Number 1. Western Airlines 2605. Get ready to hear a chilling tale of tragedy and loss. It all started on a dark and foggy morning in Mexico City, as Western Airlines Flight 2605, also known as the Night Owl, was making its way from Los Angeles to Mexico City. But little did the passengers know that this would be their final journey. As the McDonnell Douglas DC-10 approached the airport, the pilots were faced with a daunting challenge. The runway they were supposed to land on was closed for maintenance. Despite this, they attempted to land on it anyway, and disaster struck. The plane crashed into the runway, killing 72 of the 89 people on board. To make matters worse, a maintenance worker lost his life when the plane collided with his vehicle.